Hi everyone!
Hi!
Welcome to another MSI Insider weekly live stream. As you can see, today I'm not joined by Eric, Peter or Ja, because unfortunately neither of all could make it. So I want to introduce you to my lovely assistant Robin.
Yeah, hi guys.
Maybe you already know him. We've seen him before in the content creation live stream, where he explained a little bit about video rendering and the loads on the CPU and stuff. So today he will be my lovely assistant when we will build this nice machine.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and we'll try to answer as
yeah, Robin will also read the chat, and we also have a nice giveaway before we start. So make sure to sign up there. Go to msi.com/2/insider. If you like our Twitch page or our YouTube page, you can enter. If you like both, you have double the chance to win. So make sure to join the giveaway. And Robin will draw some winners later on. If you haven't signed up yet and you've seen a winner, you can still sign up afterwards, because during the stream we will draw multiple winners. So make sure to enter. And let's introduce you to this nice new case. So this is the MSI MPG GUNGNIR 100. The GUNGNIR is our new case. It comes in 3 different versions. The model right here is the flagship model. It's a GUNGNIR 100. Then we have the GUNGNIR 100D, and that one has a nice red dragon on the front. You can look it up on our website if you want. And we have the GUNGNIR 100P, and that one has got more clean aesthetics. The cool thing about this model though is that it has addressable RGB lighting, which I will also show you later on when we'll build a system with it. What do you think, Robin? Do you like the case?
Well, yeah, my first impression is that it's very nice indeed.
It's quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, it is bigger than
I'm an ITX guy, so I'm always used to the smaller cases. So.
I'm more like a full tower guy, so...
So this is really your thing?
Yeah, this is my thing, yeah.
So maybe we can take a look at what's in there. So we have different camera positions, and Robin will try to select the right camera position so you can all see properly what we're doing. So let me just screw the side panel off, and that's actually a tempered glass side panel, and it has a slightly grayish tint, which looks really nice when you have the RGB shining through. Let me open it up and put this aside so we can take a look inside. We cheated a little bit because we will build a system in it, but it will be very boring if I do all the cable management and stuff on stream. So we already built a power supply in there and a radiator. But the rest of the components we will build in later. So that's just a bit to save time, so we can also show you when the system is at work. There we go. Maybe we can show the top cam. So here you can also already see it's a Corsair H115i, I believe, water cooling. So it has a 280mm radiator, which you can see right here. On the top you can also place a 360mm radiator if you want, and on the front you can even go up to 420mm. For the motherboard, it's a full tower case, so you can fit an ATX motherboard, but in width you have some extra space, so you can actually fit an extended ATX if it's a maximum of 272mm. But of course you can also fit a smaller motherboard in. You can fit micro ATX or mini ITX. I have a mini ITX board right here. So let me just show you the size of the case. So if you would put that in, that will look like this. So there you can also see the size of the case. It's quite big.
So we already have a lot of questions in the chat. So are you going to overclock the GPU?
The GPU? Today we're going to focus more on building the system and seeing what frame rate we can get with it. And we've got Call of Duty Black Ops 4 ready for you. So we won't overclock it today. We will address that definitely in a separate stream. Some more questions?
Yeah, so what is the price of the PC?
That depends on region as well. I think the MSRP is $119 I believe. That's excluding VAT and stuff.
And the most important question, of course, does it have RGB?
Of course. This model has addressable RGB lighting, and it has so in the front of the case. Let me just take this motherboard out again so I can show you where it has RGB. because that's in multiple places. So there we have the front of the case. Right here, in this triangle, there is RGB lighting. On the bottom here is RGB lighting, and if I drag it right here, there is a 120mm fan pre-installed here, and that also has RGB lighting, and all are addressable. And the cool thing about this case is also on this side, let me just take the panel off. Go. So right here there is an 8 ports RGB LED hub. So right now it already has some the case components with RGB connected, but you can also add, for example, RGB LED strips and synchronize them with your motherboard through the RGB hub right there. So this only comes on the 100 model. The 100D and the 100P don't have RGB lighting. So if you're not into RGB, then of course it doesn't matter. If you're into RGB, make sure to get the MPG GUNGNIR 100. So as you can see on this side, we already did the cable management. Here you can see the power supply right there. 750 watts Corsair RM 750X. It's 80 plus gold power supply. We already did some cable management here, and right here on the main cam you can see a nice cable management cover. This is also only on the GUNGNIR 100 model, and it's really nice. You can fit all the cables of your power supply and other components right through here, so you don't get, like when you open the side of your case, like an explosion with cables, which I usually have on my own PC.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
Yeah, I do nice cable management, and then I change a couple of things on my PC, and then I'm too lazy to do cable management again. So in the end it's one big mess of wires everywhere.
Yeah, same here.
So that's really nice about cable management cover. It's really easy. You just put the wires of your power supply, other components, just right in there. You close it, and they're not really visible anymore and not in the way if you want to do anything else. So we have some more things to show you about this case. On top, I will just put it in front of the detailed cam. So here you can see, of course, the power on button right here. You have this HDD LED. There you have USB 3.0 port, another one here, and there you have the to connect your headset to 3.5mm jacks. And this button right here, it's not a reset button, but it's a button to control the addressable RGB lighting. So if you press it, it will cycle through multiple presets that are in there. And if you hold it down, if you press it and hold it down, it will synchronize with your motherboard as well. So any questions in chat so far?
Yeah, so we have some questions. What is the out-of-the-box performance?
Out-of-the-box performance of the case?
Of the case!
Yeah, so far it's not really performing that well because it's quite empty. But we will build a very nice system with it. I've got the MEG Z390 Ace right there. Here I have a very nice 9700K processor that we will put in there. Here we have the RTX 2070 Gaming Z. So we will build a very nice system with that. So then the performance is not really out of the box anymore, because we will build a full system with it, but then it will be sweet. So if you have any additional questions, please drop them in chat, and then we can do some building. And while building, I'll also explain you more about the case and the specific features. So for storage today, we will work with an M.2 SSD, but of course, if you want, you can also use 2.5-inch SSDs. You can actually position 2 right there, and 2 on the back here as well. Let me see if you can see it with the light. And below you also have space for 2 3.5-inch hard drives, so the conventional hard drive size. And then let's get building. Can you assist me with the building today?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Maybe we'll put it to the side first, because then we can prepare our motherboard. So let me just...
Someone is asking, not Type C?
No, this case doesn't have Type C on the front I/O. But we might introduce future cases with Type C as well.
And which processor are you guys using?
For this system we will use the Core i7 9700K. So that's an 8-core processor from the 9th gen Intel Core series. And it's really fast and really nice.
It's quite beefy.
Yeah. So we will build a high-end 1080p gaming system. And 1080p, it might sound a little bit low if you're using, for example, the 2070 RTX. But today we're using our Oculus NXG 251R monitor. And that's a 1080p 240Hz monitor.
So that's that one, right?
Yeah, it's right here. It's maybe a little bit hidden. Let me just reveal it. There we go. So that's our 240Hz 1080p G-Sync monitor. And 1080p at 240Hz, it's quite demanding. It's actually, if you want to use it to its full potential, it's as demanding as 4K at 60Hz. So if you want to benefit completely from a 240Hz monitor, you really need a beefy PC to run it for a very smooth experience. And that's really smooth, and we will show you later on. Unfortunately, we can only capture 60 FPS, but we will also show the frame rates, and gonna be nice.
Okay.
More questions?
Yes, let me see. When does the case go on sale?
It might already be. I'm not sure. That's also dependent on region, so that's a difficult question to answer. But make sure to check at your local stores, and maybe they can inform you about when they will have it available.
And we have another question. Does it have horizontal PCI port?
No, this one only has the regular PCI Express. I think it needs the vertical positioning of the graphics card.
Yes, I believe so.
This only has the conventional method to install a graphics card. And you can actually install graphics cards up to 400 millimeters. So last week we had a live stream with our new RTX 2080 Ti Lightning. And I think that one is a little bit under 330 millimeters. So then that's already a beast of a card. And here you have 7 centimeters left in space even. So you can fit the largest GPUs on the market in this case without any problem. And also for the CPU cooler. Today we will use an all-in-one water cooling system. But if you're using a tower air cooler, for example, you can fit one in up to 170 millimeters.
Okay, so you want to answer more questions or go into the motherboard?
I can also answer questions while we start preparing our stuff.
Let me see.
So I will install the CPU in the meanwhile. So let me go to
someone is asking SSD or NVMe?
NVMe is actually the PCI Express. I can grab my SSD right here. It's actually a PCI Express interface. So you can, if you have a PCI Express SSD, it obviously is an SSD.
Right.
But NVMe is a lot faster than serial ADA interface. So today we're using a 500 gigabyte Western Digital Black NVMe SSD. So that will be really fast. But first we will install the CPU. So when we do that, let me see if I can make it visible a bit better. Always just keep the cover on when you install the CPU to make sure you don't damage the pins in the socket. Because if you damage them, you will destroy your board. So just keep it on there. Open it up. Gently put in the CPU, and if you look at the CPU right here, you see some small openings on the side, and that should fit the CPU socket right there, so you know you have it in correctly. Then you can just take the cover off if it's in there. There we go. You close the lid and push it down. So that's it. Easy, right?
Easy.
What board are we using?
Yeah, so we're asking what board we are using.
We're using the MEG Z390 Ace at the moment. And that's actually the little brother of our Godlike motherboard. So you might be familiar with the Godlike. We already have it for a few generations now. The Ace is it's actually our first model of the Ace. So the Z390 series is the first generation where we have an Ace model. And it really has the aesthetics and the look and feel of the Godlike board. But now this one, for example, doesn't have the dynamic dashboard, the OLED screen on the side, and it doesn't come with streamer boost card, stuff like that. So it's a little bit, it's not as expensive, but it still really has that high-end look and feel of the Godlike board. And it also has a very strong power delivery, which is also quite important if you're using the latest 9th gen CPUs, because they can be quite power hungry because they have got so many cores. If you're going to overclock them, you really need to make sure you have a proper VRM.
Yeah, so we're getting lots of compliments already, and someone is saying they both have slick back hair, look stronghold. Yeah.
We do? Oh, we're on the wrong cam for that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, we matched today.
Yeah, today we matched it, yeah.
I think my hair is a bit darker, but... So then the CPU is in, and today we're using water cooling for the CPU. So we have got some more stuff right here that we need to install, so it will be, so we can attach the water block to the motherboard, or to the CPU, I should say. So let me just turn it around. We have a nice backplate right here, and that one goes right there. Let me slide it in. Now we turn it back. There we go. And then it's just 4 screws and the back plate is positioned. And the other 4 screws that I have right here. So these I use later on to attach the block to the CPU. But that will be when the motherboard is inside the case. And the reason I do this already is if you install your motherboard, you can obviously not reach the back of your motherboard anymore. So then it's quite difficult to attach a backplate. This case that we're using today, the MPG GUNGNIR 100, it actually has an opening for that. So even if you forgot to install this up front, you can still access the back of the motherboard, so you can still install the backplate. But I would always recommend to just do it beforehand, because it's a lot easier if you just have the motherboard right in front of you than when it's in the case. So this is all installed. What I would also recommend if you're building a PC and if you're using an M.2 SSD, it's also easiest if the motherboard is still outside of the case. So we will install that already. So this motherboard has 3 M.2 slots. One right here, one right there, and one right here. And this one actually has a heatsink, M.2 shield, that will protect the SSD and will also help to cool it. Today I will be using our slot because it's a bit easier to see how to install SSD. So let me get this cam a little bit closer.
So Blazers 6905 is saying that motherboard has to be one of the nicest I've seen. Why doesn't AMD have nice motherboards like Intel?
I think AMD also has some nice motherboards. So yeah, we have like certain models that we currently only have on Intel platform, but maybe in the future could be that we will also release it for AMD.
Okay.
So we will install the SSD in this slot right here. So first you take out the screw that is in there by default. And installing an M.2 SSD, it's really easy. You just slide it right in there. And then it's just one screw to attach it. So you just push the SSD down and screw it in. So that's it. And today we will only be using an M.2 SSD. It's a 500GB model, so can already fit a fair amount of games. So the motherboard is prepared now. The memory that I have right here, it's Corsair Vengeance RGB memory, 3466 megahertz, I believe. So we'll install that later on, because when we will be installing the motherboard in the case, it's easy to hit the memory modules and you might damage it. Because especially these kind of models with the RGB lighting and the heatsink, they're quite high. So we will wait after we install the CPU water cooling block, then afterwards we will install the memory. Let me see where I can put this so I can bring back the case. Let's make some space right here. There we go. So the cool thing about this motherboard is that the I/O shield, it's already integrated on the motherboard itself. So usually you start with placing the I/O shield, if you have a separate one, into the case. And here with this board we don't have to do that. We can just slide it right in. So let's start with that. So because I already did some pre-routing of the cables, it's a bit more difficult to put it in, but it will be fine.
Someone is asking, is that Western Digital black?
Yeah, it's a Western Digital black, 500 gigabytes. Robin, could you assist me for a second?
Sure.
Because I have some pre-routed cables right there. Could you drag them up a little bit so I can slide the motherboard under? Right here, please.
This one.
There you go. And there we are. So now it's nicely positioned. There you see it. And then it only requires 9 screws, 3 in the bottom, 3 in the middle, 3 on top, to attach the motherboard to the case. At the moment I'm using an ATX motherboard, so make sure if you're using a different size that they're in the correct places to put the screws to the case. So if you have any more questions in between, I can just answer them while screwing all these things in.
So someone asked, is it cheaper to build a PC versus buy a PC?
That's a very difficult question, and it also depends on the specific situation. Because with the mining hype, where everyone was using GPUs for mining instead of gaming, the prices for GPUs, they were really high. So at that point it was often quite a lot cheaper to buy a pre-built system that were at a certain price point, because the miners would only buy the separate cards and not the complete systems. But usually, of course, it depends on the components. Usually it's a little bit cheaper to build it yourself. But also the good thing about buying a pre-built system is that you of course have warranty on the complete build, and you don't have to do it yourself. But if you like to build your own PCs, then why not? And the good thing about building yourself is that you can really pick every component yourself to your own preference. And you can pick your own case and stuff like that. Even though cases of the pre-built systems these days can also be really nice sometimes. There we go. So we have 6 screws in now, 3 to go. So any more questions?
Repeating questions, so I'll answer them.
If you haven't signed up yet for the giveaway, make sure to do so. So go to msi.com/2/insider. There you can sign up for the giveaway. We will be giving away multiple $20 value Steam wallet codes. So make sure to tune in. If you cannot enter the giveaway on the website itself, Robin will also put a direct link to the giveaway in the chat to make sure everyone can enter. So we installed the motherboard. Let's see. Then we have to, of course, attach all the right cables to the motherboard. So here we'll have a power connector right in the corner. That's an 8-pin connector for the CPU. This motherboard actually has 2 of them. So if you have a power supply that has 2 of them and you want to overclock your CPU, definitely install both of them. You don't have to, but it's better for load balancing. So it will also reduce heat if you spread it over 2 cables. Today we will not be overclocking the CPU, and this model only has one 8-pin power connector. So I just connected to CPU power 1 connector right here. So let me see if it's correctly in. Yep. Then we have the 24-pin ATX power connector right here. It goes in on the side. Right here we have the audio for the front panel. So if you want to connect your headset to the front panel of your case, make sure to connect this. On this motherboard it's on the bottom left. Then we have the USB 3.0 header. So if you want to use the two USB 3.0 connectors on the front of the case, also make sure to connect it. This case actually has, or the motherboard actually has two headers for it. One right there and one right there. So I'll be using this one, but it doesn't matter if you want to use that one instead. If it's better for your cable management, then it doesn't matter if you do so. Then we have some very important, very small connectors right here. Might be a little bit difficult to see them, so maybe I can show you with a close-up cam. Yep. So there we go. So these are very small connectors, and they're for the power button, the power LED, and for the hard drive LED. So that you have to connect them at the GFP1 header on the motherboard. So make sure to check out the user manual of your motherboard to make sure that you connect them to the right pins there. Any more questions in between?
Well, let me see. Really nice motherboard. So we're getting lots of compliments about the motherboard as well.
Nice, nice. And what do you guys think about the case? Because today the case is the star of the show, obviously.
Someone is asking, is there any high-end case from MSI this year?
I cannot tell you about it yet. There might be. So this is already quite high-end. I cannot talk about our future models yet, but I can guarantee you that we will have more cases from MSI. That's all I can say so far.
And someone is asking about the graphics card we're using today.
Today we're using the GeForce RTX 2070 Gaming Z. So we already have it right here up front. Let me just grab it and show you real quick. There we go. So it has the new Twin Froster 7 cooling. Two large fans on it, also a nice backplate that actually helps with the cooling. So there are cooling pads on the back of the PCB, on the memory chips and stuff that are connected to the backplate. So it's not only there because it looks really cool, which it definitely does, but it also helps with the cooling of the card. So it's quite a big card, but you can still see if we're going to put it in, we still have plenty of space left. So even if you're using a card with 3 fans, for example, they tend to be a little bit longer, you will still have plenty of space. And now let's continue, because at the front of this case, by default, we have 3 fans. Let me get the detailed cam for that. So I don't know if you can see it properly. Here's one 120mm fan, here's another 120mm, and there's a third one. You can of course replace them. It also supports 140mm fans at the front. So if you're going to use water cooling, you can go up to 420mm radiator. So today we're using a 280mm radiator that's positioned at the top of the case. But first we will connect the 3 fan headers for the case fans on the front. So they will automatically be controlled by the motherboard, because the motherboard will measure the temperatures of the system. Let me see if I have the right one. And the cool thing about this motherboard is also it has a lot of fan headers. So you can attach a lot of case fans to it and still have plenty left. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And there we go. And then we also have the case fan in the back, which also needs to be connected to the motherboard. It's a little bit hidden. Right here we have it. And that one we will connect right here. There we go. So now we're using 4 120mm fans and 2 140mm fans on the radiator, so we'll have plenty of cooling. So I think we have everything attached to the motherboard right now. Let me double check. Yep, so we can start putting the CPU block on the CPU. There we go. And that one has an additional connector for the pump of the CPU block that we can install right on top. And that one is a little bit difficult to reach because of the radiator, because we pre-installed that. There we go. Right now I'm using a plastic cover. It's to protect the copper part of the CPU block, so we can take it off. And we have some very important, if you're going to build PC, cooling paste, which you will need to put between your CPU and your cooler. There we go. If you're going to put on the thermal paste, I always try to do approximately 1 grain of rice, the size of that, and apply it to the CPU. And many people tend to spread it out over the CPU. Personally, I don't, because if you properly attach the water block to the CPU later on, it will already be spread over the CPU by the water block. So we have the cooling paste on there, and on my hands. So any more questions in between?
Well, many people are asking for the specs, so I'll post in the chat.
Later on we will also capture some of the gameplay with this PC, and we will also have a visual for that. But if they have any specific questions, right now we have the 9700K Core i7 CPU installed into the MEG Z390 Ace motherboard. Later on we will install an RTX 2070 Gaming Z graphics card, and here we have 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RGB DDR4 3433 megahertz. So there we go. So this one is all set. Let's put the cables aside.
So what CPU cooler are we using?
It's a Corsair H115i, I believe, or i Pro. I think it's i. So it has a 280mm radiator with 2 140mm fans on it. And it's an all-in-one water cooling, so it doesn't require any maintenance. It's just installing and using, so it's very easy. But of course you can also use an air cooler in the case you have plenty of clearance for quite large air coolers as well. So that's a matter of personal preference. The benefit of an all-in-one cooler is that you can still reach everything quite easy. The performance is quite good. But the good thing about an air cooler on the other hand is that it also helps to cool your VRM. So this motherboard already has really good VRM cooling, but if your motherboard doesn't have that, make sure you get sufficient cooling from, for example, an air cooler. Let me put this cable aside a little bit. There we go. So the installation, because we prepared the motherboard, the installation of the CPU block onto the CPU is very easy. It's just 4 screws. You can do it by your thumb. I'm lazy, so I'm using a screwdriver. There we go. So okay, put it to the top cam.
Sure.
So there you see, it's installed. 4 screws right there. And then it's time to install the memory. And this motherboard has space for 4 modules. Today we're using 2.
So
Yeah,
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
We're using 2 models because with 2 modules you can use dual channel memory, which also helps for the speed of your memory. So it's always better to use 2 modules than 1, for example. But of course you can also use 4, then you will also have dual channel with this motherboard.
Someone is asking what terminal paste we are using.
Doesn't say a thing on here.
Okay.
So I have no idea actually. It might be what came with the cooler. I'm not sure. So I'm installing 2 memory slots. So on top you can see I will install it in this slot and on the one on the side. So if you use, for example, 2 slots on the left, you will not get dual channel memory. So make sure to check the manual of your motherboard to see if you install it in the right slots. So there we go. Then we're going to take 2 brackets out. I can show you on the back here. Yeah, so we're using, it's a little over 2 slots, but it has 2 slots to attach it to the case. So we're taking out 2 brackets there. The ones that are in front of the primary PCI Express slot. So the one on top. That's 1. And number 2. And then we just slide in the graphics card. There we go. And then we just put back the same screws. That's 1. And there's 2. And then we only have to do one more thing, and that's attach the power connectors for the graphics card right on top here. So this one has one 6-pin and one 8-pin, but that obviously depends on the model that you're using. So today we're using the RTX 2070 Gaming Z. Let me see, right there. There we go, both are installed. And then we're done.
All right.
It's quite easy, wasn't it? So, we'll be finishing this later on and hook it up to the monitor right here. But in the meanwhile, maybe we can draw our first winner for the giveaway.
Sure. So let's go.
So I will just close this up. If you haven't signed up yet for the giveaway, please do so. You can go to msi.com/2/insider and sign up there. Later on, Robin will also put a direct link in chat, so you can sign up through there as well if you don't see the link on the landing page. That's always the downside about tempered glass. It looks really nice, but now you can see my fingerprints everywhere. So do we have a winner?
Yeah, so we have our first winner, and let me pronounce this correctly. The winner is Shibin Matthew Varghese.
Did you pronounce that correctly?
I don't know. I pronounce in English. So
Shibin Matthew Varghese. Congratulations, you won one of the $20 US Steam wallet codes. We will probably mail it to you tomorrow. So for the ones who haven't signed up yet, don't forget, because there will be more chances to win one of those $20 US Steam codes. There we go. Side panel back on the other side as well. Then maybe later on we can put the lights off and show you some of the RGB effects that you can do with the case. Let me first hook it up to some cables. So any more questions in chat?
Let me see. Lots of congratulations.
We don't know if it works. We still have to see. Or I suppose the congratulations were for the winner.
Someone is saying, I want an RTX. When will prices go down? Yeah, that's what we're all are hoping for,
yeah,
right?
I don't know either. It's something we can't predict either, because it depends on the market a lot. Power cable, also important. I forgot a thing, a very important thing. Now I'm spoiling that I don't have a computer with RGB lighting at home, because I forgot the RGB connector of the fan.
Well, let's fix that.
I'll quickly fix that. I have to take the panel off again. And what's a computer without RGB these days? We're going for a really quick fix.
Nice build, congrats. Someone is saying it's alive. Well, almost.
Almost. Well, the computer, I think it's alive, but it started, but the RGB didn't start yet, because of course I forgot to connect it. And now I know why. Because the cable dropped down in my cable management. So let me see. Where do we have it? It should be somewhere right here. So this is the fan. Is this the RGB connector? Oh, Robin, we made one mistake.
So what's that?
When we were dragging the cables this way to put in a motherboard, we apparently forgot one, but I think I can release it from this side. So we have hidden the RGB connector. So I hope I can easily reach it here. I'm afraid we have totally hidden it. So if we're unlucky, we have to actually take the motherboard out to reach it.
Oh no.
So that's the downside if you're doing cable management before you build the system. There are a lot of cables in the way. We were putting in the motherboard, and now one landed underneath. There we go. Nope, we will have to take some stuff out. I cannot reach it from here. But we can answer questions in the meanwhile.
Yep, someone is asking about the CPU again.
The CPU, it's a Core i7 9700K. It's a K CPU, so it has an unlock multiplier, so you can also overclock with it. If you're into overclocking, of course. So let me quickly take out the graphics card. There we go. So we have to do this, guys, because of course we want to see the RGB. Okay, Robin, can you try to reach the connector right here? That one.
Which one?
No, here, I think you have to...
Oh, wait.
That one. It's underneath. So let me see if you can reach it like this.
Oh, there we go. Yep. Almost. Yes. So...
You have it?
I'll have it, yeah.
So you have the connector, the RGB one?
No. Yes, now I have it.
Nice. Lucky, so we don't have to take the motherboard out. Can you pass it to me right here?
Sure.
So this is the RGB connector, let me see. This is difficult to show. Yeah, the cable is too short, I think. I will show you from top later on. Let me just attach it. And for this model you will have to put it on the J rainbow header. So really make sure you use the right RGB headers, especially a motherboard like the Ace. It has many different RGB headers on there for all different kind of purposes. If you're using it with the Gungnir, use the J rainbow header, because that's the one you will need to sync it.
Someone is asking, is there any precaution to take while building my own PC, like static electricity?
Yeah, you have like specific bands for it. Just make sure, like if you're not really building your PC on a very electrostatic surface, make sure that your clothing is not very electrostatic, stuff like that. What I usually do before I start building a PC is touching the radiator to make sure there is no electrostatic charge on you anymore, and then you should be good. And so far I've built quite many PCs and I never damaged something from electrostatic discharge. So graphics card back in. Yeah. And screw number 2. And the 2 connectors back in, and then we're done. There we go. So I'll put it back so you can see the front of the case again. let's try it on. Oh, there we have it. RGB.
Nice.
Let me plug back in the monitors. Or the monitor, I should say. And the capture card, so later on we can also see what we're actually doing on the system. Is this on?
Someone says, take your socks off when building a PC.
Your socks off when building a PC. I usually build it with my socks on, but yeah, could work. Let me just close the PC again. Well, we can put the side panel on later. Now I have to see where the signal is going. Is it going to the streaming card maybe, or to the computer? I think it's going to the streaming card right now. So that's correct. It's by default. Can you? Yeah, you can open it. It's
Yes. Okay.
So we can go to the setup. At the moment everything is on default. We don't have to adjust that much. So we're going to enable XMP because that will allow a higher memory frequency, and that will automatically load the correct profile from your memory modules into your BIOS. So especially if you're using higher end modules, it's a pity not to use it because by default they will probably be working on a lower frequency. So it's free performance if you put XMP on, and that's all we need to do. I have to look there because it's not on my monitor yet. Apparently it sees the streaming card as the primary monitor. So there you see what you changed. Extreme memory profile disabled to enabled. Yes. And then it will reboot.
So, someone is asking, what's the sound level when at full load?
The sound level of the case.
Yes, I think so.
Well, we will have full load later, so you will be able to hear it. But of course it's depending on a lot of things. There are 4 case fans in already, but it also depends on the sound level of the CPU cooler you're using, the sound level of the graphics card you're using, the sound level of the power supply you're using. So yeah, it really depends on the exact configuration. But I don't have any tools to measure it right now, unfortunately. But at the moment I can hear the air conditioning on top a little bit better than the PC itself. So there we go. So we're in Windows. As you can see, we pre-installed the SSD because it takes too long and it's boring to watch a Windows installation. Maybe we can show the system on the front again, so we can show what the RGB lighting can do. So here you can see the RGB lighting. I don't know if on the bottom there is as well. Yeah, I think you can see it as well. And in the fan. And with the button right here that I showed you in the beginning of the stream, you can cycle through different modes. So this is a rainbow mode. It looks a little bit strange now because we're using chroma key with a green screen. So the green will be keyed out. So that's the vague movement you see through there. So usually that's green. And you can cycle through all kinds of different effects. And it has many of them. So just cycling through a couple of effects. If you press down the button and hold it, it will flash and then it will synchronize with the other components. So that's the addressable RGB. So if I turn it a little bit, you can see it's now in sync with the colors of the RGB in the graphics card. In this case it's the RTX 2070 Gaming Z. So that one has RGB right here. It synchronizes with the motherboard, with the memory modules, because we're also using RGB memory. And it's all nice in sync with the fan in the case and also with the front and the bottom. So let me know what you think. Do you like the aesthetics? Please drop your opinion in chat.
Yeah, someone is asking, does it come with shiny MSI case badge?
With the MSI case badge?
Well, at the front it's LED, right?
Yeah, but there's something cool about that as well, because the triangles you see right here and the triangle right there, you can actually take it out and customize it yourself. Like, a colleague of mine has a 3D printer, so you can 3D print these elements, and you can exchange the default one with, for example, your own logo or your own name. And it might be a little bit hard to see. So here we have a printed part. And this one, it's translucent. Let me put the light of my phone. So you can see MSI.
Ah, nice.
So you can use it to project it like this. This one is made for the bottom. So that goes right here, and then it will project MSI right here. But of course you can do that with your own name, your own logo. And it also, let me pick this up real quick. Can you show the detail again?
Sure.
You can also take this front, now it's green, so it's it shines through.
Nice timing.
Okay, it switches again. You can also take this part out and replace it with your own 3D printed model. So, there we go.
We have a question about the motherboard we're using. Someone is asking, what's the difference between Z370 Godlike and Z390 Godlike?
The C370 and C390. There's actually quite many differences. The Z370 obviously has an older chipset. C390 has a couple of benefits over it. So it has the integrated Wi-Fi MAC, for example. But there's also new features on the new Godlike motherboard. So you have the dynamic dashboard, for example. So it's a nice OLED screen on the Godlike motherboard. I think if you look up one of our previous streams, we also really showed some stuff on the Godlike. So you can also see with the dynamic dashboard, it's an OLED screen where you can, for example, show the temperatures of your CPU, or the fan speed of your case fan, stuff like that, or the frequency of your CPU. But you can also use it to personalize your rig. So you can just upload a GIF or GIF, how should I say it?
Yeah,
the file, and you can show it on the display. So for example, you can make a GIF with your name and show it on the motherboard. And also the Z390 Godlike, for example, comes with Streaming Boost, which is a nice streaming card. If you do Twitch, for example, you can capture through HDMI in 1080p 60 FPS. That comes with the Z390 Godlike as well. You also get an expander card with 2 additional M.2 slots.
Someone is asking, does it have more lanes?
More lanes?
I think they mean PCI lanes,
yeah,
right?
PCI Express lanes. No, there are not any changes in between that. If you need more lanes, you will need to go to a different chipset. So Z390 is like the highest end model in the mainstream platform. So you will need to go to high-end desktop platform. So if you're going Intel X299, if you're going AMD X399, and then you will have more lanes. So if you want to use many graphics cards, for example, and you need more lanes than what C390 provides, then go X299 or X399.
Okay, someone is asking, can you set the infinity mirror to rainbow, or have the other LEDs set as static colors?
Let me see, I can do some stuff at
Can we do
Mystic
that?
Light. So Mystic Light is now integrated in Dragon Center, so let me boot that up. And at the moment, the infinity mirror is synchronized with the other RGB in the case. So here we have all different kind of things. It was asking rainbow?
Yeah, mirror to rainbow or static colors.
So there we go. We can also, at the moment, it's synchronizing motherboard, GPU, and the memory. But we also have the an RGB keyboard right here, the K70, and we have the GM60, or the, let me see, and the GM60 mouse, which also has RGB. Fly. So now we'll also synchronize the keyboard, the mouse, the RGB in the case, in the fan and in the front, the memory, the GPU and the motherboard. They're all in sync now. So it's quite easy. You can just attach them with all sync, and then you can pick all kinds of different effects.
Now you have your personal disco.
Exactly.
At home.
And maybe we can make it a little bit darker in here, so people can actually see what happens with all RGB. There we go. So that should be a bit easier to see. Let me turn it a little bit.
Let me see.
So now it's on rainbow, I think. Let me check. Yeah, it's on rainbow. So you can see the infinity mirror goes on rainbow. On the background here you can see the keyboard and the mouse. They also go on rainbow. The fans, the RGB at the front. But also if you just want to have one static color, you can just select one in the RGB software. So now I put it on steady, and like for example if you like pink, apply. And then everything becomes pink. So let me turn it a little bit further. So now it's all in pink. I won't use green because that's with the chroma key a bit difficult. But if you like red better, for example, you just switch this to red, apply, it will flash. I turn it a little bit. So you can adjust it to your own liking. So please mind, the addressable RGB lighting only comes with the MPG GUNGNIR 100. So the 100D and the 100P, they don't have the addressable RGB lighting. We also have some nice effects. I don't know what they do exactly. This is flashing. Let me see what happens. You can do breathing, where it slowly pulses. What will this one do? Oh, this looks cool.
Someone is saying, get the glow sticks out. Yeah. Party time. Someone is asking, can this case mount the GPU vertically?
No, this case cannot mount the GPU vertically. So which one do you prefer? Shall we put it back to rainbow?
That's okay.
There we go. So unless there are any more questions or about RGB, I will put the lights back on again.
Yeah, let's do that.
Come on. Hey Robin, you're here as well.
Yeah.
So there we go. I will put the tempered glass side panel back on, and then we can show this rig in action. So attaching the side panel is also very easy. It comes with 4 thumb screws, and they have rubber on there to protect it from scratching as well, which which is always nice. There we go. I think it's really cool that also the GK70 and the GM60 keyboard and mouse, they also synchronize with the case. It's closed. So let me make some space. There we go. So, shall we play some Call of Duty Black Ops 4?
Well, that sounds great.
Or shall we first draw another winner in the giveaway?
That's a better idea even. Okay, so let me draw a new winner.
Can you show the visual again? So for the ones who haven't signed up yet,
sure.
go to msi.com/2/insider. If you haven't signed up yet, please do so. If you like our YouTube or Twitch page, you can enter the giveaway. If you like both of them, you also have double the chance to win. And we will now draw our next winner. Also, after we drew this winner, you can still enter because we will be giving away more later on.
So we have a winner, and his name is Daniel Thorup.
Congratulations, Daniel. You won a $20 US Steam wallet code. We'll email it to you tomorrow. And now let's get gaming. So let me fire up Afterburner so you can also see the frame rate. So we're using the Oculus NXG 251R monitor. And that's a 240 Hz monitor at 1080p resolution. So here is Afterburner, so we can see what frames we're getting. Let me fire up Call of Duty. So I'm not a very good Call of Duty player, so if you have any tips for me, drop them in chat. But I think we can get some nice frame rates here. Play.
So for those who wanted to know the specs,
yeah, on the bottom you can also see them. So the case, the MSI MPG GUNGNIR 100. Then we have the Intel Core i7 9700K CPU, the MSI MEG Z390 Ace motherboard, the GeForce RTX 2070 Gaming Z graphics card, 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance 500 gigs M.2 NVMe SSD, Western Digital Black, an RM750X power supply, and the NXG 251R monitor. So at the moment the frame rate is still low in the menu, but it will be a lot higher in game. So we're using a 240 Hz monitor, and that's of course very nice, but if you're not reaching over 144 frames per second, there's no benefit of using 240 Hz over 144 Hz. So if you're using a 240 Hz monitor, make sure your graphics card actually manages to get such an amount of frames. Let's play some multiplayer. I don't have any sound, so I hope I can find my enemies faster than they can find me. So any more questions in chat?
now someone is asking when can we see 2060 in action, but actually we are using the 2070.
We're using the 2070 today. We actually already had a live stream about 2060, and there you were able to see the RTX 2060 Gaming Z in action. So make sure to check it out. You can still find it on our YouTube channel. And there you can see the 2060 in action.
Someone is asking, shouldn't you be able to do 1440p with that setup?
Yes, you are able to do that. But of course at 1080p you can reach a higher FPS. And now we're using a 240 Hz monitor. So if you want to have like the smoothest experience, you need a very high refresh rate monitor. and this is the highest one we have at the moment. It's 1080p at 240 Hz. But of course you can also run a 1440p monitor on here. I like the one.
Re-up and redeploy.
Cool. So please let me know if the in-game volume is too loud or too low. Then we can adjust it a little bit. So if you have any more
Hard
questions
point.
about the case, about the rest of the system,
Capture the objectives. Hard point located. Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point locked down. Hard point contested. We have the advantage. Hard point contested. We've lost the hard point. Hard point locked down. Hard point lost. We've lost control.
Clusters up.
Hard point is secure. Hard point contested. We're pulled ahead. Hard point contested.
They're gone.
Hard point lost. Hard point locked down. Wire in place. I'm testing hard point. Hard point located. Hostiles have the hard point.
I adjusted it a little bit, so please let
We're
me know if it's
behind.
better like this.
Enemy UAV above.
Sighted torque.
Now we're gaming on it, but I think the case is still quite silent.
Foot mobile. Crash eliminated.
Hard point locked down. I'm testing hard point. We've lost the hard point.
Cluster grenade.
Hard point is secure. Hard point contested. Enemy UAV above.
As you can see now, the frame rate
Hostiles
is
have the
really
hard
200.
point.
I think it's at high settings at the moment. So that's when you really benefit from a 240 Hz.
Crash spotted.
This monitor also supports G-Sync. Nowadays you can also switch to G-Sync compatible mode on other monitors. But this one actually has the G-Sync, so it's a genuine G-Sync motor.
Hostile. Deploying wire. Spotted.
So I dialed the volume down because they were saying it's too loud still.
Still too loud?
Yep.
Hard point located.
You know how to adjust it, right?
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point locked down. I'm testing hard point.
Torque splashed.
Oh, one of my back. Oh, they're everywhere. House full of enemies. More questions? Make sure if you haven't signed up yet for our giveaway, go to msi.com/2/insider. You can still enter our giveaway. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I pressed the wrong button and it did something.
sound seems fixed.
Oh, that's my body. It's better?
Yep, it's better. Somebody's saying, whoa, what a smooth FPS.
Yeah, unfortunately the capture card only allows us to capture in 60 FPS. But I can tell you, it's super smooth. Oh, that's an enemy. Got him. Where is he? Oh, there. Oh, he just got me.
Nice.
Just trying to run around the corner. But so please let us know what you think of the case and drop your opinion in chat. If you have any further questions about the MPG GUNGNIR 100, also feel free to drop them in chat. We'll try to answer as many as possible.
Deploying laser wire. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint locked down.
Torch splashed.
Oh. Got him.
Foot mobile.
Hardpoint
Oh, he
contested.
got me. I think he had a sniper. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Hardpoint contested.
And if you're going to use this case for a future PC build, make sure you don't make the mistake we just did and attach the RGB connector before you close the case.
Razor wire.
Oh, that's camping around the corner.
Someone is asking, is your job only to game or you guys are responsible for more than streaming?
Yeah, we're responsible for a little bit more than streaming as well.
Hardpoint locked
So
down.
we're doing more marketing related things than
Hardpoint.
only streaming. But of course streaming is a lot of fun.
Okay, someone is asking about monitors. What do you think about Nvidia's new G-Sync certified monitors?
I think it's a good move because there are now many more models that are compatible with adaptive sync. So before it was a little bit complicated that there are obviously more people that own an Nvidia graphics card than people that own an AMD graphics card, but there were more people owning a FreeSync monitor than owning a G-Sync monitor. So now that Nvidia started to support the VISA adaptive sync standard, a lot of more people can actually benefit from adaptive sync.
Clean kill.
Right.
So I'm positive about it.
Hostile gunship establishing air superiority.
Oh, I just lost two. Whoa. What's this? How do I activate this?
I don't know.
People are firing at me from the sky, but as you can probably tell, I'm a Call of Duty rookie. Well, I'm not in the older Call of Duties, but I am to the newer ones.
Spotted.
And now I lost two legs again from the sky.
Okay, so we have another question. Wes Warlord is asking, when are we going to get an MSI all-in-one CPU cooler?
MSI only one CPU cooler.
We'll discuss that
We don't have any
performance
plans for
later.
that yet, but if
Who knows?
yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future. At the moment, we only have air coolers, but it's definitely something we can look into. We are actually already using MSI all-in-one liquid coolers in some systems like the Infinite X,
Right.
but at the moment we're not separately selling any MSI liquid coolers.
Someone is asking, is the case going to be available in NA? Is it?
North America. I suppose so. It should be, but make sure to check with your local retailer to check about availability, because it can also depends from region to region within North America, because North America is quite big as well. So availability depends from country to country and maybe even from state to state. So how did I do? I was not too good this game. It's quite hard without sound,
Yeah.
because people can hear me before I can see them.
It's like playing PUBG without sound.
Oh,
Doesn't go
that's
too
even
well.
more complicated. I think PUBG without sound, that's difficult. Sound is so important in that game. So will this automatically load the next game?
Let's find out. Meanwhile,
Yeah, if you haven't signed up yet, please do so for the giveaway. You can still have a chance to win a $20 value Steam wallet code. Go to msi.com/2/insider. If you cannot enter the giveaway there, maybe you can drop the link
I'll
again
drop
and
the
check,
link again. Yeah.
so you can directly participate in the giveaway. So we already had a couple of winners, but there is more to give. So much RGB. So already any opinions in chat about our new case? Please let us know what you guys think.
Taking A. A locked down.
And if you don't like RGB, make sure to check out the Gungir 100D and 100P.
Securing B.
Oh, that was my buddy.
Tango down.
Bravo locked down.
Okay, we're good.
Taking control.
Oh, it's not dead yet. Oh, flashbangs. Okay, you got me.
Losing B.
This map seems to be quite popular. Or maybe the server is only doing this map. I'm not sure.
Someone is asking to recommend the best MSI case there is. Well, I would say I like this one.
Yeah.
So
The Gungir is also my personal preference.
Lost Bravo.
But of course a case is a very personal thing, and you might like the aesthetics of another case better.
Hostiles have established.
But my personal preference is the Gungir, definitely.
Bravo secure.
well, the Infinite case has some sleek RGB, but that's a system, right? We don't sell the Infinite as case.
No, we don't sell the case separately.
Losing B.
Engaging
Authorized UAV roulette call. Enemy
Ready to reload. Whoa! I got hit from the other side. Oops.
losing Bravo.
Eject pack.
Losing B.
Okay, Maybe I shouldn't run into 3 people at the same time.
First come, first served.
Doesn't help.
Enemy took Bravo. Hostile UAV circling.
Razor wire neutralized.
Hostile RCXD spotted.
Cluster
Oh.
grenade.
Oops. What? Oh, a helicopter. I still don't know how to fire those things.
Hostile UAV circling.
Enemy combatant.
Someone is asking, what does MPG stand for?
That's for MSI Performance Gaming. MPG.
Someone already explained MAG is MSI
Arsenal
Arsenal Gaming.
Gaming, yeah.
Yes.
And then we have MEG is MSI Enthusiast Gaming. Good question, by the way. He's having a shield. How do I get a shield? There's so many features in this game that I have no idea about.
Yeah, that shield felt really OP.
Yeah.
Cluster grenade
Somewhat
available.
Like Reven is asking, will it support 360 radiator?
Yes, it even supports up to 420 in the front. So you can have a radiator with 4 140mm. But of course you can also use 360 with 3 120mm fans. Oh.
Enemy attack chopper above.
Oh, that actually kills you.
Red call. Hostile hellstorm
I got
inbound.
killed by a wire. I don't know what this is, but let's just throw it. And I got hit by a helicopter, I guess, yeah.
Losing A.
Torch moving.
Taking Charlie.
And again, the helicopter. Talking about OP.
Losing A.
As soon as you run out, you get hit by a helicopter.
Securing Bravo.
So if someone has tips or tricks, just drop them in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, we lost a round.
Let's help.
So I'm not
Michael.
very good, but it plays really smooth. With over 200 FPS, 240 Hz screen.
Come get it.
Well, it does look amazing. From where
This
I'm
guy was
sitting.
a camper. Why do they say best play for someone who's just camping in a building?
Couldn't see that one coming. Can you test Battlefield 5? I want to see graphic.
Capture the
Battlefield 5. I think I have it installed, so
Securing C.
maybe after this game we
Took Alpha.
can show some Battlefield 5.
Enemy attack chopper above. Taking Bravo. Hostile UAV circling.
Neutralized.
Hostile system intrusion has been detected.
Almost dead. Okay, still alive. Not by much though. I got killed by the helicopter.
Enemy has B.
If you guys know how I can get a helicopter, please let me know.
Hostile malware has been connected to your systems.
Now I know why that guy was camping with the damn helicopter.
Yeah. Works.
Tango down.
Attack him.
I prefer the running and gunning though. It's more fun. Ah, helicopter again.
I don't know if this is a personal question, but someone is asking what other games you got.
Got on the system installed right now.
Cluster
Well, I
grenades.
don't know.
GTG.
I'm not sure actually. I know I have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which I'm playing right now, and I have Battlefield 5. But I'm not sure what else there is on this installation.
Threat neutralized.
through some. Oh, it's a grenade. What is that?
Let's rock.
Oh, I have a grenade launcher. Oh, nice. I actually killed someone with it. Okay. So I have special abilities as well. And what's the helicopter?
Tracking enemy sniper's nest overhead.
Threat neutralized.
Authorizing UAV release.
Oh. I totally missed that guy.
Enemy hellstorm
I
detected.
didn't see him until he, what was again the helicopter.
Can you play Anthem in RTX? I don't think
No,
so,
I
right?
don't have Anthem.
No.
Sorry.
Hostile UAV circling.
But maybe in the future we can have a nice Anthem stream. I think that's something we can do.
Someone would probably play Minecraft with mods first. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Minecraft will be super smooth with this.
Securing Alpha.
I was on fire. But I don't know about what.
Can you comment on the airflow in the case? Is it sufficient to cool high-end components?
Yeah, at the moment we're actually using high-end components. Now we can show the big cam up front.
Yeah,
So-
sure.
Here you have some nice air vents, so it can take the cool air in from both sides. And there are, at the moment we have three 120mm fans that will drag the air in. And we have two 140mm or 140mm fans on the radiator that drag out through here, and one 120mm fan in the back that exhausts the hot air out on the back of the case. So yes, it has definitely has sufficient airflow possibilities for high-end components. As you can see, at the moment I'm using an RTX 2070 GPU, and you can actually see in the top right corner, you can see it's 69 degrees Celsius at the moment.
Ops forces
So it's
taking
still
CCP.
very cool while gaming.
I forgot the most important question, but can it run Crisis?
I'm not sure. It's Crysis.
Crisis is still very heavy, right?
that Crysis really became a meme. Can it run Crysis? Yes, it can definitely run Crysis. No problem. And it can run Minecraft, Call of Duty, Battlefield.
Maybe if they make the RTX mod for Crisis, you know what they did with the Unreal Tournament?
I think they did it with Quake, right?
Quake, was it
Yeah,
Quake?
I think it was
Okay,
Quake 2.
right.
So they had ray tracing in Quake 2. I think it's cool.
But
I haven't
that-
tried it yet, but
When they do that, Crisis,
like the first one
Yeah,
with ray
the
tracing.
first one.
That sounds cool. I lost. So, shall we do some Battlefield?
sure.
Let me see, how do I get back? There we go. Battlefield 5.
What does it take to be an employee of MSI?
What it takes.
Skills.
You need to have some knowledge about computer hardware, obviously. Like, for example, what we do, you have to be able to stream. Yeah, and further on, it's very dependent also on what your position within MSI would be. In certain positions, you need to have other skills than in other positions. So it's hard to give one answer for all the positions within MSI.
I think the first requirement would be you have to love MSI.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
have to love gaming. Like
And
if you're
gaming.
not into computer hardware or if you're not into gaming, then MSI would not be the right place for you. We'll just do some... Where's the regular conquest? Ah, there. So I think at the moment it's set to esports settings, lowest latency, highest frame rate. So ray tracing is off at the moment. It's at DirectX 12 and it's at low settings. So that will give super smooth frame rate, but of course it doesn't look as pretty than when you put it on higher settings. So what weapon should I take? Sniper looks cool.
Black Reven is asking any availability of anti-vibration padding.
Anti-vibration padding. Like the fans in here, for example, they already have anti-vibration padding on there.
That's a good question.
Oh, my mouse sensitivity is a little bit too high. Let me switch that down a little bit. I'm a very low sensitivity player, so I always want to have it low. I cannot aim with the high sensitivity. Still feels slightly high. So at the moment it's, let's see, is it locked on 200 FPS? Video. It looks like it. Yes, let's go monitor refresh rate. Let's see. Then it switches to 144. Let's just put it to 200 then. The monitor is at 240 Hz actually. So this is super smooth. Battlefield 5, 200 FPS, 240 Hz monitor. Got hit in my back. Got ambushed.
Ich sterbe. Ich brauche Hilfe.
Theo, that constant 200 FPS makes my 1080 Ti look bad. Well, the 1080 Ti is
yeah, your
is a pretty
1080
good
Ti
card.
should also be able to do that with these settings, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's a very decent graphics card still. But of course it also depends on other components such as your GPU, your memory. Where should I spawn? I want another rifle. Oh, that one's still locked. Oh, it has... That's a cool weapon. This one was also in Call of Duty 1 and 2. I'll just stick to this one then. It's a pity that you first have to unlock the cool weapons.
Yeah.
This map is so cool. What was that? Oh, an airplane.
If it isn't a helicopter, it is a plane.
Yeah, I should play more Battlefield. I'm not used to vehicles everywhere. I'm being picked up. Thanks, buddy. Whoa, what was that? I have no idea what happened, but I died somehow.
Someone is saying our 2080 Ti with gold is just too beautiful. Yeah, thinking they're talking about the 2080 Ti Lightning Z, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, watch last week's live stream. We had a live stream with RTX 2080 Ti Lightning, and that's a beast of a graphics card. It's very big, very impressive, and very fast. Oh, there was someone in the building camping.
I would almost sell my kidney for that.
I think maybe for your kidney you could buy a Lightning.
Yeah.
I think you can. I don't know how many you have left, but
None.
this weapon is not very good. Oh, there's two. Come on, buddy. Shoot them and rescue me. Hello? Can someone pick me up? No. Thanks, buddy. For letting me die. How do I do a squat spawn? Oh, it doesn't work when in combat.
So have they tweaked this game, well, recently? Like the kill time ratio? Or?
With Battlefield?
Battlefield, yes.
I have no idea. I'm not a Battlefield player myself, so for these questions, go to Eric. He knows all about Battlefield. Unfortunately, he couldn't join today. He's the Battlefield guy. Okay, great. I spawn and there are 4 people right in front of me. Perfect. What was that? Okay. Rescue me. Thanks, buddy. My aim down sight sensitivity is way lower than my normal sensitivity. Controls. Zoom aim. Let's turn it up a little bit. Yeah, that's better. That was an easy kill. Ah, got hit by the airplane. Do we have more questions in chat? That hurt. Those planes!
Kanalu says, lol, am I the only one with an AMD card?
You're certainly not.
No, I don't think so. Because
There are way more people with an AMD card. chat. I'm not sure if I'm walking in the right direction, but we'll see. Oh, enemy. Other enemy. Oh. A lot more enemies.
Is this on max settings?
No. We're currently not playing on max settings. Currently esports settings. So we're using a 240 Hz monitor. So in Battlefield 5 you have to turn the settings down a little bit to achieve frame rates that really make you benefit from a monitor with this kind of refresh rate. But of course you can play it in max settings as well, but you will have lower frame rates.
What is it, RTX on? Or
This is RTX off.
off?
RTX
Right.
still has quite a big impact on your frame rate. So personally I would recommend, if you want to use RTX, especially on higher resolutions, go for a 2080 or 2080 Ti even. Oh, that's not an enemy. On 1080p you can of course play with RTX on a 2070, but you don't really benefit from 240 Hz because it will impact your frame rate too much to reach this kind of frame rate.
I am Mr. B is saying a clicky sound from keyboard was great.
Yeah, mechanical keyboards. Sound is very satisfying. Especially when you're using it yourself. Usually people that are in the same room as you are, if you're using a mechanical keyboard, not everyone thinks that's satisfying, but to type on, it's really satisfying. Where did that guy go? There he is. Okay, I'm almost dead.
Theo Yals is asking, is the monitor's refresh rate set to 244 Hz in Windows?
No, not to 244, 240. Yes, it is.
He says, might explain why it went to 144 when you set your to monitor.
I did change it to 240 Hz. But I'm not sure if Battlefield, if you lock it to your frame rate, if it goes higher in Battlefield than 144, because 240 Hz is still quite a recent thing. Well, that was a sniper, I guess. Yeah. So shall we draw a next winner for our giveaway?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Okay, so we have a new winner, and his name is David Land. David, congratulations.
David
Land.
David Land. Congratulations, David. You won one of the $20 value Steam wallet codes. We'll also for the other prize winners, we will probably email it to you tomorrow, and pick a very nice game with it. So, do we want to play more? Or shall we wrap it up? Maybe we can do
well,
one more game
yeah,
of either
sure, let's do
Black
that.
Ops or Battlefield. So let chat decide. What do you want? More Battlefield or more Black Ops 4?
So,
So who's in the lead? Black Ops or Battlefield?
let me see. People are still congratulating David. Do you ever play Quake Champions?
I have tried Quake Champions. I like Quake games, but I'm not really a fan of the Champions part of Quake Champions. Personally, I still prefer Quake Live over Quake Champions.
Someone is saying Black Ops. Kelly Juan is saying, or do some benchmarks.
Oh yeah, we can also do
Can
some
we
benchmarks.
do benchmarks? Well, I can recall.
Which one?
Someone asked for the graphics card.
We can run 3D Mark.
Yeah, sure.
That's no problem.
Good idea. Yes, do
let's
benchmarks now.
see. Benchmarks. So let's do some Time Spy Extreme. Oh. Disable G-Sync. There we go. And we don't need a demo. Let's run it. So let's play some 3D Mark. 3D Mark. Cool game.
Nice.
I'm very good at 3D Mark.
Always a happy end.
So as you can also see on the bottom, currently using 9700K Core i7 processor on the Z390 Ace motherboard with GeForce RTX 2070 Gaming Z graphics card.
Yes, and meanwhile, someone is asking, will B350M motor, will it support 3rd generation Ryzen?
Oh,
Difficult question.
that's I'm not sure. I don't know right away. So yeah, still have to see what they still have to launch 3rd gen Ryzen, so we still have to see what models will support it and which ones don't. So that's not an answer, a question I can answer right away, unfortunately.
Amadunga Akidama is asking Pro Evolution Soccer or FIFA? I don't know.
Oh,
What
it's
do
a
you
long
like the
time
most?
since I played soccer games.
Right.
I don't have much experience with Pro Evolution Soccer. I played some FIFA, but if I would play a football game, I would play Rocket League. I would play football with a car. But that's just personal preference.
Show us performance. We'll do
Yep,
that.
currently running
Yeah.
3D Mark. So this is still at stock setting, so we haven't overclocked anything.
I am Mr. P says next Fire Strike.
Yeah, sure. I see some comment about Quake.
Yes, I was skeptical at first, but it's not bad, I think. A good evolution of Quake, but the old Quakes are still good, of course.
Yeah, I haven't played Champions that much. But I really like about the original Quake that everyone is on an even playground, and here it's also dependent on what champion you're using with what abilities you have. I like the core gameplay of Quake. And Unreal Tournament, I think that's also a really good arena shooter.
Wait. I'm not certain if you're be able to answer this right now, but will there be smaller variations of the Ventus line of RTX graphics cards in the near future?
I think for Ventus it depends on which model you have. So if you have the 2070 RTX 2070 Ventus, it will be slightly smaller than the 2080 Ventus.
And the 2060 is much smaller, right?
I've only personally used the Gaming Z version of the 2060, and that one indeed is quite a lot smaller than the Gaming Z of the 2070 that we're using now. So usually the size of the card scales with which one you get. So the 2080 and 2080 Ti will generally be larger than 2070, and 2060 will be even smaller.
Yeah, let's ask Peter next time.
Yeah, Peter can tell you all about it. But it's dependent on the version you get. I know that. So if you haven't seen the RTX 2060 live stream yet, make sure to look it up on YouTube. You can see Peter comparing the RTX 2060 Gaming Z to the 2070 Gaming Z that we're using today. And you can really see that it's a smaller sibling. So people are asking about Fire Strike after this, right? So we're running Time
Yes.
Spy Extreme.
Okay, so Time Spy. Nice.
There we go. So 4,322 points in the Time Spy Extreme. So let's get to Fire Strike Extreme, right?
Doesn't say. Let me
I
see.
think so. That's the
Strike.
most common one. Well, we can run it. Let's just switch it on.
Don't know if this is a question, but someone is saying 4790K to 8700K or 9900K.
So if you compare them to each other, I
I
think,
think so, yeah.
like the 4790K is a little bit older. It's still a quad-core processor with hyper-threading, so 4 cores, 8 threads. With the 8700K, you will get 6 cores with hyper-threading, so that's 6 cores, 12 threads. And it also offers, because it's newer generation, also has better single-core performance. So it will perform both better in single-core and multi-core. And 9900K is even an 8-core processor with hyper-threading. So that's 8 cores, 16 threads, and on an even higher clock speed. So that's a lot faster than, for example, 4790K. So the 8700K, 9900K will be a lot faster, especially 9900K, obviously.
We have still time for another question. So, would you know if a i5 8400 and a GTX 1060 would be able to handle streaming Rust in Fortnite?
That of course depends on what resolution you're going to play. Streaming is especially harsh on your CPU. So if you're streaming in X264, that will be harsh on your CPU. So an i5 8400 it's a 6-core CPU, so it should be quite okay at it, but you will have some performance impact, of course, if you're streaming and gaming at the same time. GTX 1060 if the resolution is not too high, you should be able to play those games with it. Yeah. And I think Fortnite is, especially Fortnite, is not very demanding, so you should be good with 1060. In, for example, Battlefield 5, that will be a different story, of course. So let's try some more RGB modes in the meanwhile. This one's pretty cool. So many different modes. All colors.
It's a nice nifty button.
Yeah.
Actually, I would use that button because
Just pressing it all the time.
When you're playing games, you don't want to go into software sometimes, so pressing the button is...
Yeah, it can be quite easy to use certain preset. But the cool thing if you're using the Mystic Light software is that you can really adjust everything.
Yeah, sure.
So you can synchronize, for example, the GK70, the GM60 that we're using right now with all the components in the case. So if you just hold down the button, it will flash. And it will be in sync with the other components again.
So, I think we have a score.
10,778. So that's a Firestrike Extreme score on stock settings. So we didn't overclock the CPU nor the GPU. So this is right the out-of-box performance of the 9700K with the RTX 2070 Gaming Z. But of course the Gaming Z is already a higher clock version than the regular RTX 2070 series.
Let me see.
So, we had some 3D mark.
Any recommendation for best PC lighting kit?
Best PC lighting kit. Like, for example, with the Gungir, you can just attach all kinds of different lighting already on the case itself, because it has an 8-port RGB hub inside the case. So you can just buy separate LED RGB strips, for example, and connect them to the hub that's already in here. So it will also synchronize the RGB strips, for example, with the RGB fan right here and the lighting in the front of the case.
IMSP asks, can you put a custom 3D print mic? I want to look at it.
No, I cannot put it in right now because you will have to disassemble the complete front of the case. But you can, of course, replace the triangle here on the front and on the bottom. It takes too much time to do it right now. But if you have a 3D printer, it's definitely interesting to look at.
Okay. No questions. People are answering questions already. So,
So let's wrap it up for today.
yes. Okay.
Because next week we will also have a very nice live stream.
Yes.
Because we will show you how to water cool your PC. And we actually will have an expert in the studio that will tell you everything about water cooling. His name is Tim Warning. He has a lot of experience with water cooling, and he will show you all the ins and outs. So already start thinking about your questions, because next week is the chance to ask them, and he will build something very nice on stream as well. So definitely join next week, same time, same place, and see you then.
Sounds great.
Goodbye, bye bye.